Welcome back to English Classes Online. In today's class, we want to discuss how best to interpret idioms. For those of you who are preparing for your Waec or Wassce, that West African Senior School Certificate Examinations, or Neco or Nabteb, or any other English exam where you will likely be given questions on idioms and idiomatic expressions. Of course, I've received questions from different students, asking how best to interpret idioms. Well, there are some tips I am going to share with you that will actually simplify the interpretation of idioms and idiomatic expressions. And we are going to take some past questions and illustrate with them. My name is Benjamin from English Classes Online. So without much ado, let's dive into the lesson right away. Now let's begin with how to interpret sentence meanings. And of course, when we say sentence meanings, in most cases, those sentences contain idiomatic expressions. And of course, you need to understand that an idiom is a group of words whose meaning is different from the meanings of the individual words that make up the group. So idioms are not quite easy to interpret, but they are known to native speakers of the English language. But we have come up with some techniques, some skills, some literary devices that you can use for interpreting idioms. Now let's look at them. Of course, most sentences that students are asked to find the appropriate interpretation for contain idiomatic expressions. We can figure out the meaning of an idiom by examining the elements that make up the idiom and the mental pictures they create in our minds. To do this, we need some literary devices, and they are as follows. Number one, metaphors. Number two, imagery or images. Number three, symbolism. And number four, contextualization. I will explain this one by one. Let's begin with metaphors. A metaphor directly refers to one thing by mentioning another, and that's the nature of idioms. A metaphor states that one thing is another thing. Let's look at some examples. Jack is the black sheep of the family. And of course, this does not literally mean that Jack is the animal called sheep, with the color black. No. Now, it simply means that Jack is a disgrace or a failure or an embarrassment to the family. Okay, so that is what idioms look like. They have some meanings, that you cannot immediately see on the surface. Okay, Udo is a snake in the grass. Now this simply means that Udo is untrustworthy. It's someone who cannot be trusted. Now imagery, but before we look at imagery, I want you to understand that when you look at these metaphors, you can actually look at something, when you say Jack is the black sheep of the family. Now, when you look at a black sheep, there is something about it, all right? when we discuss symbolism or the use of symbols, you will also understand, like the color black has some negative connotation, all right? So, and of course, when you talk of the black sheep, again, you see that a metaphor is a figure of substitution. Now, you are saying that Jack is the black sheep, and that actually tells you that there is something negative about Jack. So you see, it gives you some clue as to what the meaning is. Now, Uto is a snake in the grass. You know, when you look at some of the things that, you know, are used as metaphors, you see that the substitute, something that is used to describe, is actually a figure of description by substitution. Okay? Now, if you say Udo is a snake in the grass, you think of the type of animal a snake is. A snake is a dangerous animal, isn't it? And then in the grass means that you see the snake can be hiding in the grass, and if you don't know that the snake is there and you get there, then you might be attacked. So it means that the person is not trustworthy. Okay, so let's look at imagery or the use of images. Okay. Now, imagery is the use of words to describe ideas or actions. An image is the mental picture you have about what has been said, heard, seen, touched, or smelled. Let's look at some examples. Udeme's plans amount to building castles in the air. You see, what picture does this create in your mind? Somebody is building castles in the air. A castle should be a very big house. And then in the air, how can you lay a foundation in the air? So you see, it's something that is really not realizable. So here, building castles in the air is used to refer to an unrealizable project. It's something impossible, okay? Building castles in the air. So some idiomatic expressions have a way of creating some images in your mind. And so for you to interpret the idioms, you need to ask yourself, what kind of image does this create in my mind? And then that can help you to actually interpret the idiom. Let's look at another example. Lucy dropped the bombshell at last. She was HIV positive. Okay, now think of a bombshell. You know, when you look at what image does it create in your mind when someone drops a bombshell? You know, that's exactly something that is shocking, right? Something that is surprising. Okay, so that is exactly because a bombshell, that's exactly the kind of picture it creates in your mind. So here, the bombshell is not about a bomb, it's an unexpected piece of news. That's exactly what it is. Now, the next literary device is symbolism. Symbolism is the use of symbols to represent ideas or qualities. Certain things are symbols for certain ideas or qualities. For example, Wassce went through fire in the man's house. You know, when you say somebody went through fire, you know, fire is an image of suffering. It means she suffered or experienced difficulties, you know. So fire is a symbol for suffering, you know, or affliction. Let's look at another example. The government has offered an olive branch to the opposition. You know, this means that they've taken steps to end the conflict or to make peace. You know, An olive branch is a symbol of peace. When two countries are at war, or you have two armies, warring with each other, and then one particular group come up with olive branch, is a symbol that they have they have sued for peace. All right, so that is what it means. To offer an olive branch is to make peace. Okay, so symbolism is uh, an important literary device for interpreting idioms. Now, other examples of symbols are crown. When you crown is the symbol of royalty. Cross is for suffering. Serpent is a symbol for evil or deceit. Then when you talk of rose, the rose flower is a symbol of beauty, and so on and so forth. Okay, so knowing what certain things symbolize can help you to interpret idioms. Now, we are taking the past questions from West African Senior School Certificate Examination of June 2010. And we are taking the question specifically from section 3. The instruction is as follows. After each of the following sentences, a list of possible interpretations is given. Choose the interpretation that you consider most appropriate for each sentence. Question number 21. James and Henry were at daggers drawn when I knew them. So here you can easily use imagery. Daggers drawn. Daggers will immediately create a picture of hostility. Because when people draw daggers, they want to possibly attack each other. So it has to do with hostility, being hostile to each other. So if you say James and Henry were at daggers drawn, what picture does it uh, paint in your mind? Let's go through the options. This means that they, A, were always angry with each other. Most likely, yeah. B, always wore daggers. No. C, were good at drawing daggers. No. D, were fighting everybody. No. A is the appropriate uh, option because it has to do with anger. They were always angry with each other. That's the appropriate interpretation. 22. My book has become dog-eared through use. Again, you can use imagery. When you look at something that is dog-eared, has to do with, something that is rumpled. Because when you look at the ears of a dog, they create the picture of something rumpled. So this means that A, the corners of the pages of my book are crumpled. Yes, that's the appropriate interpretation. Crumpled is the word. Okay, crumpled is the word. Then B, my book is designed like dog's ears. No. C, my book is indispensable. No. D, my book is torn. No. So the option that is correct is A, the corners of the pages of my book are crumpled. Okay, so question number 23. Musa does not believe that there is poverty in Africa. He is a dyed-in-the-wool capitalist. Dyed in the wool has to do with something very rigid, very firm in one's belief. Is dyed in the wool, dyed in the wool. Something that is difficult to change. That's something dyed in the wool. Now, this means that Musa is a kind capitalist. No. B, a thoughtful capitalist. No. C, an old capitalist. No. D, an unbending capitalist. That's correct. rigid, unbending. All right? You can't change his views. Now, let's go to question number 24. Whenever my cousin comes to realize that I am telling the truth, she will eat humble pie. Now, when you eat humble pie, it means that you accept that you were wrong. All right? You accept that you were wrong and possibly you apologize. That's what it means to eat humble pie. This means that my cousin will A, respect me, no, B, hate herself, no, C, apologize, yeah, that's the appropriate option. When you eat humble pie, you apologize, you admit that you were wrong and you apologize. D, be ashamed, no. Question number 25. Well, let's wipe the marks and then we move on to question number 25. I had dinner with Tony and Nick, and they talked shop the whole time. When people talk shop, they are talking about their business, they are talking about their workplace, the things they do. That it means to talk shop because shop is a symbol of where someone does business or where someone works. So when you talk shop, you are talking about your workplace or about the things you do. Now, this means that they talked about A about buying things from the shop, no. B, about their job, yes. That's exactly the appropriate thing. They talked about their job. C, all the time, no. D, about taking me to the shop. That's quite ridiculous. Okay, so let's look at question number 26. Let's wipe this so it doesn't confuse us. His decision to reconcile with his former agent paid off. If something pays off, it succeeds. It yields the expected results. It yields positive results. Okay, if something pays off. Now, if you are a worker and you receive your pay, it's a good thing. If something pays off, it is something that is positive. Okay, so then let's look at the options. This means that, excuse me, this means that the reconciliation A yielded positive results. Yes, that's the appropriate interpretation. B, cost him a lot of money, no. C, was unsuccessful, no. D, cost him some trouble, no. 27. The beauty of Bimpe's garden shows that she has seen green fingers. Now, again, you can look at symbols because when you look at green, like green revolution, it refers to agriculture, you know. So when you look at green fingers, this has, and again, you look at contextualization here. What is being discussed is Bimpe's garden, and again, having seen green fingers, this refers to, planting, uh, planting crops and all that. So what do you do in the garden? You plant crops and all that, or flowers, if you like, or plants. This means that Bimpe A always paints her fingers green. No. Beware of the literal interpretation are given as options. And they always sound quite laughable. Okay. B is good at growing plants. Yes, is good at growing plants. When you have seen green fingers, it means you are good at growing plants. C turns everything she touches to green. No. D likes keeping green objects. Certainly no. 28. I would have visited you, but for my father's ill health. Now, the expression "but for," again, contextualization comes into play here, because if you say I would have visited you, that was an extension. I would have visited you. Okay, but this conjunction "but" introduces something negative. But, okay, but for. Again, when you take the two together, but for means except for, you know, except for my father's ill health, or if not, so which actually means that I would have visited you, but I couldn't make it because my father was ill. That's just what it means. So you have to contextualize, you have to look at the words together, and then you'll be able to figure out the meaning. This is really very important. This means that my father's ill health would have made me visit you. Far from it. B, father's ill health prevented me from visiting you. Yes, I would have visited you, but for my father's ill health, which means my father's ill health prevented me from visiting you. If my father had not been ill, I would have visited you. But since my father was ill, I couldn't visit you. So that's just what it means. C, father threatened to fall ill if I visited you. No. D, father did not fall ill, so I couldn't visit you. Certainly no. Now, let's look at question number 29. Her husband's death has forced her to tighten her belt. Now, to tighten one's belt is an expression that has to do with, trying to reduce costs, to become economical. That's just what it means. That's what that idiom means. When you tighten your belt, it means you want to save money, you don't want to spend extravagantly. Okay? This means that she has A, become more economical, B, adjusted her belt, yes, become more economical. That's just what it is. Adjusted her belt, no. Become very aggressive, no. Okay. Question number 30. Some candidates take examinations in their stride. This means that they, A, prepare hard for them. No. B, do not worry about them. Yes. Now, when you take something in your stride, to take something in your stride means to be, to refuse to be worried. I mean, to be able to keep calm in the face of some difficulties. So when you take something that should be a source of concern or worry to you, and you take it in your stride, it means that you decide not to worry about it. So some candidates take examinations in their stride, means that some candidates do not worry about exams. So option B is correct. Do not worry about them. C, find them insurmountable. No. D, are familiar with them. No. And this brings us to the end of today's lesson. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. If you did, make sure you like the video and share it with your friends and relations. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, kindly leave them in the comments section below. If you browse through the description section, you'll find a lot of resources, ebooks, e-courses, online training. I mean, complete training programs that we organized, especially for those who are going to sit for their IELTS, IELTS, or Duolingo English test. And if you want to set up your own online teaching business, like what I am doing on this channel, we have a training course we have put together. If you sign up for that course by simply clicking on the link in the description, you'll be able to use my own blueprint, and then I'll walk you through the step-by-step procedure for setting up your own online teaching business, so you can begin to earn income by sharing your knowledge with people online. You can do it part-time. Let's assume you are a teacher in a government school or in a private school, or you are working or you are doing business. You can do this part-time, okay? Because online business is something you can do even from the comfort of your home, and so anybody can do it. So there are a lot of resources that you might find helpful if you browse through the description section. So this is where we draw the curtain. I want to say a big thank you to all of you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next class. Goodbye for now, and remain blessed. Many thanks for watching today's video. A big thank you to all of you out there for being part of today's episode. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, kindly subscribe to this channel. Subscribe now as a way of giving us support. For notification about new videos, click on the bell icon. You will find the bell icon. Click on it so that whenever a new video is uploaded, you will be instantly notified. If you have actually enjoyed the video, like and share the video with your friends and relatives. This is very important. If you have any comments, leave your comments below. Any questions, any suggestions, we would gladly receive them and respond promptly and positively to them. See you in the next video. I look forward to always seeing you in the new video. Thank you.